Luka, Jokic, Jason Tatum. Do you know any of them?
The last one sounds like Tanning Tatum or something. Isn't it like an actor or something? I have heard of the...
Tatum. Isn't he the Magic Mike?
Oh, okay. Well, good I know about that guy.
So I started digging into some of the stats because I wanted to know if it's just us, right? Like you said, maybe we just grew out of it, but people are still watching out there. So I looked into some of the stats, and finals, right, are usually the most viewed game. So that's what we're going to look at. If I look at the final series throughout the years, this year we have Thunder and Pacers. Thunder actually had a fabulous year of playing. They had one of the most dominant regular seasons in NBA history, with average margin of victory of 12.87 points, the highest ever. But even that, right? And they also have SGA on the team, which is one of the rising superstars in the franchise. And Pacers also, catching up early on in the season too. But with that, the first game of the finals, they had about 8.9 million viewers. Game 2 was even worse, 8.76, which is apparently the lowest since 1988, excluding the COVID season of 2020 and maybe 2021. Yeah, so pretty bad. They did manage to get people back by game 7, which is also the one game we caught too.
Yeah.
My mental or my thinking process at the time was, you know what, I haven't watched in a while, and this is the game. They're gonna get a winner out of this game one way or the other. So let's see how this goes. But I guess the other, 16 million people also thought the same.
Well, it was well advertised, I guess. Well, the only reason we also watched it, actually, you told me that, this is like this hasn't happened for a while, that we're going to game 7.
Yeah.
And they pushed that agenda probably, and people were like, oh, cool. Let's at least we'll have a winner.
Exactly.
So we'll watch this one.
Yeah, this is the moment, right? Yeah, the last game 7 in the finals, like you could see, is back in 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm wondering, right? Obviously, by the stats, if you exclude game 7, the viewership is going down. Why is that? Why do people all stop watching the game?
Yeah, I think there's so many things to do now. I just asked ChatGPT, do people have like less time on their hand these days? And like on paper, no, we still have same amount of free time as we did 10 years ago. But I think, again, like there's so much other stuff happening at the same time, where even today, let's say if I had like I have 5 hours per day of whatever time, let's say 10 years ago, and today, let's say it's the same. Probably like an hour is just consumed by whatever. I'm scrolling YouTube shorts, TikTok, Instagram reels or whatever, and that stuff consumes my time and energy. And this is like, and there's so many like other things to also do. It's like there's like a gazillion different shows to watch. There's gazillion different sports to get into now. There's you can watch 100 different live streamers about different topics. There's just like so much more competition in terms of like your attention in general. So I guess that's part of the reason, at least.
That's fair. I think your example represents a wide range of people out there, especially if we look at NBA's audience or clientele. They tend to skew younger than the other sports leagues like NFL, MLB, etc. People who watch NBA tends to be younger. These people, they have a different way to consume sports, right? Like you said, they would go online. They might just be watching like highlights of the game from last night. They wouldn't necessarily sit through the entire 3 hours of the game. So sounds like NBA is competing with like TikToks out there.
Yeah, I would imagine also 10 years ago, probably there were a lot more people watching NBA that maybe weren't into basketball that much themselves. You are like excluded from this stat now because you're not playing basketball yourself, but you're into it now. But I would imagine that there's more people back then that maybe weren't playing the sport themselves, but were still like rooting for their city and then just got like into the sport versus I guess people these days there might be more of a, you're gonna watch NBA if you're like a hardcore fan of basketball.
Yeah, that's fair. So that's one, I think, shifts in the ways you consume entertainment, right? Short attention span, the preference over just watching a highlight versus entire game. The other big factor I'm thinking is really the market size or the teams who made it to the finals. So this year we have Thunder and Pacer, which are relatively small in terms of market size, in terms of their fan base and audience, etc.
So you just mean if it was like LA?
Exactly. If it's like Lakers versus Warriors in the finals, a lot more people will be watching. And I was thinking why. So one of them was the superstars on the team, right? We said, SGA is on the rise. He's been doing really good these years. And he's also Canadian, by the way. So I'm rooting for him. But yeah, these people, right, the younger rising stars, if we look at Luka, Jokic, do you know any of them?
The last one sounds like Channing Tatum or something. Isn't it like an actor or something? I have heard of
Tatum. Isn't he the Magic Mike?
Oh, okay. Well, good. I know about that guy. Also, I've heard of the Lucas guy name. I guess because he's like European. That's why.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Jokic, Nikola Jokic. He's also European.
Okay.
You don't know any of them? Okay. See, that's what I'm saying. These younger rising stars, they're not taking over the baton and becoming this new generation of superstars. Because if we have like Kobe Bryant, right? LeBron James, Steph Curry, who else is out there? Michael Jordan goes way back.
It's probably
Kawhi Leonard. If they're playing, their fans are watching, right? So I was thinking, I don't necessarily have an answer to this yet. So I wanted to hear your thoughts too. Why are the younger generation not as big of a star as the older guys?
I think part of the reason is that it's how many of these new guys are coming into the game and they're like redefining the game. Because I think back then, like, one of the guys maybe you weren't mentioned also is like Shaq.
Oh yeah.
Like Shaq caused also multiple like I think changes to the NBA like rules because of how he played and how destructive he was basically. And the same thing too. It's like nowadays I probably like it happens in like all the different categories and niches and places whether it's like I guess sports or video games or something else too. It's like everything is so like optimized and over-engineered, so it's like like a lot harder to be the big chains now. It's like I don't know, if you need to have a car that drives like 300 kilometers an hour. Let's say that's like the fastest a car can like ever drive.
Yeah,
it's like, let's say like 50 years ago, NBA was like driving at like 50 kilometers per hour. So it's easier to go from 50 to 100 rather than now we're at so top end, like everything is performance optimized. Now we need to go from like 280 to like 285. And now it's like, and also once we do that, it's like, well, did that small percentage really make a change? I think a big maybe indicator actually now I just realized is like, did you ever watch like slam dunk competitions. Those were used to be like a big thing. Now I feel like when I just watch it, it's just all more or less the same. Like what people do this thing in games now. There's like nothing exciting anymore.
I think we also stop putting as much effort into the all-star games, like slam dunk and all the like different, I don't know, Cirque du Soleil like techniques into it. Like all the slam dunk contests I've watched over the past a couple of years, 3 years, are so boring. Like you don't see anything good out of it.
It's more, but also I wonder like how many different ways you can spin it and put it in there too.
Yeah, I guess if exhausted all the ways to make it fun or pretty. That's fair.
And I guess also you had previously like different niches of stars too. Like I mentioned, like I followed Rajon Rondo because he had a unique play style and he was like an awesome point guard and like he was a killer in assists. Where I guess when LeBron came around, he was like good at like everything. And now I feel like the standard is that you are good at everything. Whereas previously you had like, guys, I don't know if you know these old names now, but you know, Larry Bird was the 3-point shooter. You had Ray Allen then, that was like a big 3-point shooter. And that was his like niche and role. Like he's just a shooter. He's a greatest shooter. You had like Shaq and the big guys that were just like great big guys. And everybody could like, you know, if you were maybe at home sitting like a bigger guy and sometimes you would throw hoops, it's like, oh yeah, I'm the Shaq. My role is being like a Shaq. I'm the big guy that just like, it's okay if I don't shoot the ball that well, I'm the Shaq guy. And you know, for me too, it's like, okay, it's fine if I'm not like super tall, but I can be like the Rajon Rondo guy. I can like set up the plays and make sure that people move around the court properly and we get the basket. Or you have the guys that in my school even like we had also the guy that was more like the Ray Allen guy. It's like okay, get him the ball and he would just shoot it. Whereas now there's like maybe less of those personal roles. You just have like, okay, you have to be the mega superstar that just like drives the game and wins the game.
That's fair. So I'm hearing two things. Number one is they're losing their niche and losing their personalities and characteristics. So everybody tends to start to feel the same because they're all trying to be everything. And number two is because of that, the audience start to lose ways. They're struggling to find themselves in those guys. They're losing the identity and the resonance.
I guess it's just a bit less like interesting. I guess like back in that when I watched Lakers go against Boston Celtics, the whole premise was that we're looking at two teams with completely different views on how to play the game. Boston Celtics
let's see which one's is better.
Yeah, Boston Celtics was viewed as defense first type of a game. It's like, okay, we focus on defense, well defended, then we can turn that into offense. Where Lakers was like, screw, we just go full in offense and that's where we're good at. And then we had these ideologies clash and we were like fighting this out. Whereas I don't know, like now who are like, maybe you can tell me this, but it's like, take like top 5 players, like why are they unique from like the second guy and the fourth guy? Like what's the difference? From my long-term perspective, it feels like everybody's like, oh yeah, they just like shoot the threes and then they try the bucket and then they catch the ball. And
they're good.
They're good.
I think each one of them has an area they're marginally better than the others. But I feel like to your point, right now you got to be at least decent in everything. You can have a very obvious shortcoming. Yeah, that's true. Do you think the brand, the franchise loyalty is part of it too? Like you said, you were a Boston Celtics fan, right? Right now, there's so many trades out there. If I'm following, let's say, Steph Curry, he's been with Warrior for ever since he joined. I don't actually know this for a fact, but for a very long time. If now and because of him, I sort of support Warrior. But now if he moves to another team, I feel like his entire identity and his entire branding feels different to me now. And now I'm stuck in this dilemma of, am I still a Warrior fan? Do I still support them? Like, where do I stand? Do you feel that sort of?
That's probably another reason why I don't watch it anymore. Yeah. Because if I look at Boston Celtics now, I'm like, I don't know who these people are. What's the team? Or like everything has changed.
Yeah.
Because then like it was the big team. Like even I like the coach even. And then the coach left, and then the whole team like retired, and now I'm just like, oh, this like
Yeah.
Boston Celtics doesn't really mean anything. It was the
To
team.
you.
That
Yeah,
was,
that's fair. That's fair. Well, knowing all that, do you think you'll ever go back to watching the games again? Is there any reason you could see yourself going back to watch it again? Like now, let's say Thunders and Pacers, they've made it to the finals, and people are saying, "Oh my God, Thunder is a great team. SGA is great." Would that incentivize you to go back and watch at least a game or two of him playing?
I guess I can watch it, but I feel
No,
like
you're saying. I guess
I
guess I can watch a highlight of him playing
No,
for
it's-
10 minutes.
I feel like it doesn't really matter if that person plays. It's like I have to make a conscious decision about committing to caring about this for a year, and then it's like if I have like 6 different things on my plate to care about.
Yeah.
Do I want to make the decision to get heavily invested and spend my time caring about that particular thing?
That's
I
fair.
think watching
that's fair.
some games might be fun. Still haven't been to like a proper NBA game like ever.
We will make it happen.
Yeah.
Well, Raptor has been not good. So, you kind of missed out a lot of opportunities because they don't make finals and there's not a lot of exciting games in the regular season.
It looks like also nobody's excited about the draft pick, even the draft pick itself.
Yeah, no one's watching it. I did get excited about the draft that took place this past Wednesday? Yeah, on 26th, 27th. Surprisingly, one of the Chinese players called Yang Hansen. Can you try to pronounce his name?
Young Hansen.
Yeah, it's like young and handsome.
Young Hansen.
It's a great name. Yeah, like he was predicted to be drafted around 2nd round, maybe. So when he was drafted, he wasn't even sitting in like the potential prospect player circle. He's sitting at the audience seat, and he was drafted at number 16 by Blazers. Whatever.
Yeah. What do you have a?
By Trailblazers, Portland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have like a secret idea why that happened?
I don't have a secret idea. I think, well, he's obviously good, right? People are calling him the Asian with the Chinese Jokic, but you don't even know who Jokic is. So he's good, for one, but I do suspect it's a way to to expand the Chinese market, because China, it is the biggest overseas market for NBA as a league.
So if I put on a tinfoil hat, I can say things like NBA paid someone to push him into the first round pick so that it would make the news and the Chinese market would get excited and then they would start caring about NBA.
I mean, we don't have to go into the dark side either, right? It's to your point before, how do we make people relatable to the players? If if an Asian player doesn't see anybody who looks like him on the court, it's going to be hard for him to, fight for that goal. So we had a Yao Ming era. He's like the basketball god in China. And ever since him, there hasn't been like a replacement or, anyone new that's taking his place. So let's see. This is at least, intriguing me or incentivizing me to watch next season and see how well he plays.
Yeah. If nothing else, then like stay in the loop of what's happening. How is he doing?
Yeah, I doubt he'll be playing for long, like maybe like 2 minutes in a game at most. But we'll see.
Who knows? Maybe he'll score some buckets and then he gets 3 minutes.
Exactly.
And then he gets 4 minutes.
Yeah. Raptors had a Japanese player last year who later got traded to the Nets. Oh, I'm forgetting his name now. And doesn't matter. And even a non-Asian, seeing a non-Chinese Asian in the league, I thought, oh, this is pretty fun. You see someone who looked different than the rest of the players on the court, and that kind of adds a bit fun to the game too. So we'll see. That was it. how do you feel? I'm gonna drag. We will make that Raptor basketball live game happen at some point.
Yeah. I'm happy
Like-
to also like watch some games because
Yeah.
it's like it's still interesting
Yeah.
and throw some hoops. But I do feel like I don't have time in my life to have NBA consume my
Yeah.
this is my like daily activity
Yeah.
to root for, especially as well. Like I feel like I also have to start caring about the players too now or teams, and then it's like who and
Yeah.
which one. Really Toronto now.
I know they're. I think they're moving people around too frequently now. I lost track of who's at where now. I think Kevin Durant just got traded to somewhere else like a week ago,
Yeah.
and now I'm forgetting which team he's at now. And part of me like, do I really care?
Yeah. So which one fan are you then? Are you a fan for the person or for the team?
Yeah. Now I think the league is forcing people to make that decision. Like if you're a KD fan, then just follow him wherever he goes. If you're a Nets fan, then do you still like watching that without KD?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, what if, like, for me, the Boston Celtics team was the team. So now, if you take two people out of that, and two people stay, then like, if they have a game, then it's like, well, which one are you rooting for now? Are those the ones that left traitors now, or?
That's what happened when last year when Luka got traded out of Mavericks. People were furious, and it was like shocking news. Even all the commentaries. What do you call people who make commentaries? Commentators. Thank you. They were also shocked. Like, is this April Fool's joke? Because to them, Luka is Mavericks, right? You don't put them separately. You don't put them apart. So I don't know what the league is trying to do now.